Hi, I'm Robin Birkin, an ex-corporate marketer turned online business owner. I took everything I knew and created a six-figure life coaching business in the margins between nap times and a 9 to 5, and I'm here to share with you how you can do the same. Tune in as I share the raw and unfiltered truths, big lessons, and practical tips to help you build and grow a sustainable bread-winning business online that is both peaceful and profitable. Here, we dive deep into all things online courses, funnels, audience growth, and so much more. If that sounds like the things you want to learn, then welcome to Signature Online Course Secrets. Let's go.
Hi, and welcome to this week's podcast episode. You are in for a treat this week because today, tomorrow, and the following day, I am answering some of the biggest questions that I have from not only my audience, but within my containers when we are looking at things like offers and offer types, as well as how you might promote that. And I published an Instagram post just the other day about things you think might be the shortcut in business. These are all missteps that I've made before in my business as well, but things that you think are the easy button. So as you are growing, as you are scaling your business, you have these questions like, is it time to shift and pivot my niche? Is it time for me to take my offer evergreen? Maybe you are burnt out by live launching. Is it time for me to go with a higher volume offer than the one that I have? Or even you're just like tapped out with one-to-one services, in-person workshops, creating done-for-you services for people, and you are ready to move into a more scalable business, one that divorces your time from your energy, and you've now got all the questions. Over the next 3 days, I'm going to answer some of the most pivotal questions that you have about this, starting today with probably number one most popular question is, do I have a membership? Do I have an online course? Is it a group program? Like, what is the structure of the offer that I have? Now, I am so certain that you have already heard that Sold Out Signature is coming up. It's a 3-day challenge, and every day over 3 days, I will be releasing not one, but a couple of really short, to the point, sharp, take what you need, choose your own adventure videos that you can consume if you want this beautiful, scalable, sweet six empire in your business. $200,000 to $500,000, part-time hours, lean team, really with simplicity absolutely baked into your business and taking yourself out of so much delivery while also maintaining revenue and profit in your business. Now, what I wanted to do is ever so quickly tell you exactly what we're going to cover over those 3 days, because I just know that when you hear it, you're going to be like, oh my God, I have to be there. So even if just one of these piques your interest, it's completely free. Make sure you check the show notes below and register. And the other thing I'm going to do is also link to that Instagram post that I just referenced as well, before I just dive into exactly how you look at whether or not, the right signature offer for you is a membership, is it an online course, what does that look like, and what you need to consider in your business. So our 3-day challenge is called Sold Out Signature. We have 8 really short and to the point trainings. So it's all going to be, we're going to give you audio versions as well. This is such a high value take what you need experience, and I'm so freaking genuinely excited to share this with you. You can binge all of them, you can take one. So day 1 is the time leveraged lock-in. So by the end of day 1, if you watch all of the trainings, you're going to have clarity on exactly what you're creating and how that looks in the big picture of your business, the one that delivers both peace and profit, as well as exactly who you're targeting and who those best fit clients are, the ones who actually pay you, the ones that do the work, the ones that get the result, and then how to become an absolute magnet to those ideal buyers. So we start off with training number 1, which is the hero signature model, and I break down exactly what those numbers look like and how you can reverse engineer that and create a cascading cash flow into your business without overcomplicating everything. So then our next training is choosing your signature offer. So really developing your most profitable offer promise, finally deciding on a topic, even if you've been stalled for years, even if you already have something in the market and it's just not hitting the right spot. This is how we uncover your most profitable offer promise and exactly what that looks like. What is that transformation you're going to provide to people? Then what we do is we take that we nail your niche and start to attract those cloud 9 buyers, the people who are going to get the absolute best results for your offer, how do we become an absolute magnet to them with messaging that really resonates? So that's day 1. Day 2 is your peace and profit offer. So by the end of day 2, again, take what you need. If you're like, already know that, don't need to do it, although I guarantee there's going to be nuggets in every single training. But by the end of day 2, you are actually going to architect what that offer looks like. How many weeks is it going to be? What are you going to teach? What are you going to include? And how do we create that big value, low mental load business that your clients love to buy? You're going to have your offer features fully mapped out, primed for conversion, and architect how to make this ultra valuable and objection busting to your clients. So step number 1 is your signature offer blueprint. How do you go through and create an offer that people want to go through, that gets people results, that doesn't overwhelm people? That's what we're going to go through. What are you going to title your modules? All of that kind of nitty gritty that is probably swirling around in your brain that you just want to get out, lock in so that you can then move forward. Then we have conversion boosting bonuses. So your bonus suite in your offer is not something that you need right away, but it is going to be something that can be your best conversion tool. And most people don't know about exactly how to do this, or you may understand a little bit about how this might work in your business, but you don't know specifically how to craft that. I'm going to show you exactly how. And then what we're going to do is put together your perfect price. So your perfect price is one that actually sells and gets you paid, helps you reach those revenue levels, and helps you develop a business with the 3 types of revenue you need to be optimizing for in order to have a hero signature model. Day 3 is the 6-figure sales plan. So by the end of day 3, you might already have an offer. If you do, definitely still recommend going through day 1 and day 2, because the reason why your offer is not working presently could be rooted within the actual structure of your offer. But by the end of this day, you're going to know how to sell your offer. So even if you've been stalling, even if sales have been slow, even if you're just getting started, even if you're just off the back of a really slow sales season, we're going to help you get sold and get scaling across a 12-month period. So you can see exactly what that's going to look like. You can compare that to like how you're going to start, what your sort of checkpoints are. How do you then make one-to-one services optional and do fun things like prioritize your health, be with your babies, and never have to worry about revenue again if the life shit hits the fan, as it does for so many of us. So the first training in day 3 is the fast launch formula, how to get sold quickly. And day 2 is your 12-month roadmap, how to lock in and get scaling across a 12-month period, what that trajectory looks like, and exactly what you need to do. So if any of those you're like, yes, please, or all of those you're like, I'm just going to binge this because they're all only going to be about 15 minutes long. We're going to have worksheets and resources that are super downloadable. Then click on the show notes below. Come and join us for Sold Out Signature. It's next week, so you really want to move fast and get involved. Now, let's talk about memberships versus online courses. And if you have been following me, listening to this podcast for a while, you know that I'm really quite bullish in getting you to just take a minute before you commit to launching a membership. Now, I've had 3-ish memberships since I've been running my business in 2018. 2 have been those traditional, like low ticket type memberships. And then one of them is not really a membership, it's the mastermind. And the mastermind necessarily a membership, but it does have recurring buyers within that. Most people in the mastermind, about 73%, will choose to renew and stay with us. So in some ways it does have that membership element, but what I'm specifically talking about today is those low-ish ticket memberships, those entry-level memberships. That could be anywhere from $7 or $5. I've actually even got a client who has a membership for £3.50, or it could be anywhere up to like $197 to $247 per month, depending on your niche, depending on what you're targeting. So what we're going to do in today's episode is really break down how to discern what is the next right step for you and what your signature offer might be. And the spoiler alert is I'm probably going to tell you that it's not a membership. It's something in the vicinity of an online course or a group coaching program. So one of the things that I always do in business is I have something called the Peace and Profit Decision Framework. And when I'm making decisions, when I'm calling, the ladies in my mastermind and my other programs to make really high level decisions in their business that is going to affect them for 12, 24, 36 months, there's kind of a few considerations I recommend taking into account. So the first thing is if you have a problem in your business that you're trying to solve, so that problem could be you're completely tapped out with delivery. It could be you want to double your revenue, like you want to get to the next revenue level. You've hit a capacity either energetically or with the sales that you can get, and you feel like you need support in getting to that next level, or you just know that where you are now isn't where you want to be and you're like, okay, we've got to solve this problem. Maybe you are launching and you're like, I've got launch burnout, like I want more sales. The first thing is what you're experiencing now enduring and significant? So we can sit there and get in the weeds and make really big decisions about things that are actually really rather trivial in our business. A lot of the time at the moment, I'm seeing us making really big decisions like investing really big, spending lots and lots of time into like AI, for example, when in actual fact, if you have most of your business automated or your business model is something that doesn't actually require all of these high ticket sales conversations or whatever it is your conversion rate on discovery calls actually really something that you need to automate with AI? When actually the goal is to not even do discovery calls in the first place. So sometimes it's not really an enduring problem that we have because we're already making shifts to shift away from that, or it's not really significant. It's like a question about, how do I increase my Pinterest monthly views when the reality is we're not really getting clients from Pinterest in the first place. So it's actually not necessarily a significant concern. The next one is what is the real/right problem that needs solving. So you might be listening to this episode thinking, I want recurring revenue. Everyone tells me it's the holy grail of business. It fucking is. But recurring revenue doesn't just come from memberships, and you need to ask yourself, why do I want that? Is that because I am feeling like I'm always selling all of the time? Is that because I am tapped out with delivery? Keep going down the rabbit hole of why do I want monthly recurring revenue? What are the real problems here? And then having a look at, what is the right problem? So for me, there was a point in my business several years ago when I had an online course. It was doing really well. We would sell 45 to 50 places in my signature online course every time we launched. And then I decided, I want to go evergreen because I want to increase sales. What happened was that I spent months and months and months optimizing this funnel at the detriment of launching, when actually the real problem was I just needed to double my ad spend to get people in through my launches, where I wasted all of this time. We still had a really great conversion rate on the evergreen funnel, but it didn't change the fact that what I really needed was an increased lead flow into the business. And all I needed to do was in between my launches, or right in and before cart open, really increase that leads flow and commit to having more leads in my live launches. Literally would have solved the problem that I had. I wouldn't have spent all of these months really trying to look in. It doesn't solve, going evergreen doesn't solve the problem of needing more leads. In fact, you probably need more, because conversion rates for evergreen products are typically significantly lower than when you live launch. We're also really seeing a shift in the market right now to evergreen funnels really not performing the way that they did. That kind of fake urgency or manufactured urgency is not hitting the same. It's doing the same for tripwire offers, literally that whole countdown timers when actually it's an offer that's always available is really not working right now. So live launches are working really well. My live launches were working really well. My offer was working really well. It was great when we had people welcomed per cohort because I could do these awesome kickoff calls. but I wanted to increase more sales, the right step was not to go evergreen, wasted so much time. The right step was to commit to adding more leads into that funnel. So go down the rabbit hole of why do I need this? What's the real problem here? And make sure you're solving the real problems in your business. You're going to save so much time when you do that. And then what is the most probable solution to that? So really having a look at, it's really easy to get caught up in shiny object syndrome. It's also really easy to look at other people's businesses who are in completely different stages, have completely different capacities to us, and be like, I want what they've got, when actually you kind of don't want the full picture of what they've got, or your business is wildly incomparable to theirs because they have a higher audience, maybe they have higher engagement, whatever it is. So, there was a creator, I was reading an article yesterday on Substack. I am low-key starting to become a huge fan of Substack. But I read an article the other day about a creator who has a $9 subscription on Substack and is now making $10,000 months. There was a moment where I was like, that sounds awesome. The reality, though, is I have a fraction of the audience that this person has. The reality is I would probably be making $200 or $300 per month. And then the question is that worth my time and energy, or is my time and energy better spent on improving where I already am for the capacity, etc., that I have? So those three questions. Really asking yourself when you're looking at your offers, what type of offer do I create? Is the problem that I'm looking to solve enduring and significant? What is the real/right problem that I need to solve? And what is the probable solution to that? Not what have I seen someone else do and be like, oh yeah, totally possible. So when we look at memberships and online courses, what are some things that we need to consider? What are the pros and what are the cons? So first things first is just busting 3 myths about online courses. So myth number 1 is that an online course can't have a community. An online course absolutely can have a community, whether that's a Facebook group, whether that is live events, if you're in a place where the majority of your clients are or can easily get to, you can absolutely include tickets to live events that you have. So community is something that can absolutely be baked into an online course and is something that I really recommend if you want to stand out in the current market. The other myth is that everything has to be placed in a little box, like a group coaching program equals, 6 weeks of live teaching to people. An online course means pre-recorded video modules. I find a lot of people, especially people who work in like offers and sales, get really caught up in like, this has to be this. And that's not the way I create offers for myself or my clients either. I actually look at what is going to get the best results the fastest for my clients without just adding. And you can include/exclude whatever you want. It doesn't have to fit into some container so that it gets called either a membership or an online course or whatever it is. So there's probably still going to be one dominant offer structure that your offer fits into, but don't be constricted by, particular features that do or don't have to be included in what it is that you offer. My new offer that I'm dropping next week actually is just a collection of what I feel is getting the best results for people at the moment. A premium asynchronous community, 2 calls per month, a really grab and go style curriculum. And so I'm calling it Mastermind-esque because it has this beautiful asynchronous support by me. We are having sprints. We're doing all of these really sort of high touch things, but I wouldn't at this stage call it that something that fits in the box of a membership because we don't have like really tiny hot seat calls. So the other myth number 3 is that online courses have to be lifetime access. They don't. You can offer an online course for 6 months, 12 months, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be lifetime access. And I'm seeing creators go 2 ways. I'm seeing some move from 12 months into lifetime access, and I'm seeing others, myself included, moving away from lifetime access and giving people limited access, particularly when, going back to point number 1, there's community or ongoing support involved. There are so many people, I'm sure you're one of them, I'm one of them, where we purchase things and they go into almost like the graveyard. So really wanting people in your offers to be able to get results and commit. And part of that might be not just giving people lifetime access, because lifetime access also means that you are committing to continually providing updates into that offer. So when we look at memberships, here are some of the things that you want to consider in terms of the pros and cons of potentially having a membership. So the first thing that you should know is that it is a very delicate balance of new content versus not overloading people with content. So in a membership, you may or may not know this, but the number one reason people leave memberships is overwhelm. But that said, if you have nothing kind of new happening, no momentum, no results happening in your membership, and it's almost like, here's these 10 trainings, and then we just add on a community element, you are really not setting yourself up for people to get results or thrive in that membership, because you do need fresh resources and fresh content. But the difference is that you need to not just be adding to a Netflix style bank of information, because when people just see everything in a membership and they feel like they're not using it all, that's when they go, don't think there's value here. So it is a delicate balance. I remember when I had my last membership and I felt like I was pumping out content, but I also had an audience type that were people who thrived on like devouring everything they could on this topic. So I even had one person be like, I've gone through everything, now what? So it's this delicate balance, because if you have too much, if they're not seeing it, they're going to be like, oh, I'm not getting the full value here and I'm going to leave. And stick around, because there are a few scenarios where I'd consider a membership that I'll share with you after. The next thing to understand is what's called churn. So the general benchmark for acceptable churn is 10%. So that means if every month 10% of your members leave, that is what is called an acceptable amount of churn. If you have 5%, that's optimal. If you have like 2%, that's like mind blown. But let's say you have, and I don't know what it is, most people have this concept in their head of like, if I just get 100 members. So let's use 100 members as the benchmark. So if you have 100 members in your membership, you would expect that potentially 10 per month will leave. So the very first thing is the mindset of that. So you'll have 10 people cancel or send you an email to say, I'm ready to go. And you really need to have the mindset of not taking that personally and understanding that that is a natural evolution of a membership. But getting that 10 times per month means it's going to happen multiple times per week. Like every couple of days, you're going to get notifications say this person's left or whatever. So you need to have the mindset that that is completely normal and acceptable. But let's say the goal is 100 members and you launch once every quarter. That means that you get up to 100, but then by the time you launch again, you've lost 30. So you need to not only sell another 30 places to get back to 100, but surely you are also wanting to grow. But what does it look like to then get another 30 on top of that and make 60 sales into your membership? So you need to really understand what is required, and most people don't take into account that natural churn and just the amount of people that you're continually needing to funnel in, not even just to like grow, but to just stay at an even number of memberships. What makes this tricky is then the next point, which is like you want monthly recurring revenue into your business. The way that you like have a membership that keeps growing is you prioritize average lifetime value. But here's where it gets tricky. The cost of acquisition in a membership is typically the equivalent of 3 months. So if you charge $10 per month for your membership, the average across industries is that each person in your membership will give $30. It will take $30 to acquire them. So whether that's through Facebook ads or whatever, it's going to be an average of $30 to get people to join your membership. The tricky part though is the average amount of time someone stays in a membership is also 3 months. So it's almost like a break-even scenario. So if your membership is designed to be more than like a warm-up lead generation tool, in which case, low ticket offers are typically there to break even to get people to join signature offers that are more premium-y and revenue generating. They have those 3 types of revenues that I'm going to be sharing on the challenge. Unless, if the goal is to make money, there's every chance that it may not do that. So you would need to, in that case, either bring right down the cost of acquisition. So much easier to do if you already have a large audience. If you don't have a large audience, hard. Or you need people to stay for an average of 6 to 12 months, and you need to increase that average lifetime value of your clients. Or they need to join other programs and it becomes more like a lead generation tool. So really understanding that delicate balance. And then the question, if it's a lead generation tool to get people to ascend into other offers, is it less of a head fuck to just have a webinar that is free that then warms people up and gets them in, rather than having this community that you are then holding and this constant juggle of funneling people into almost like a leaky bucket approach? So that's where you have to say, hang on, like, what do I really want here? And use that peace and profit decision framework. The next thing that I see almost nobody speak about with memberships is they're harder to sell. They really are one of the hardest offers to sell unless it is at that kind of lead generation price point. And I'll tell you exactly why. There's 2 reasons. Reason number 1 is that when someone is looking at a membership, there is inevitably the question in their mind of, well, how long am I going to stay here? And they will do the mental maths. It's $47 a month. How long do I think I want this for? Do I need this forever? Am I going to be paying $47 forever? And there's that almost like unclarity of how much the investment actually is for the reward that you will have in a membership, versus the absolute clarity with something like an online course of, oh, right, this is the exchange of value. That's kind of foggy when you have a membership. So you'll actually typically see, even if there's a big difference in price, a different level of conversion with a membership offer, unless it's priced super, super low as a, lead gen tool. There might be that, real question in someone's mind as they're looking through your sales page of, like, what does this value exchange look like for me? And then this is the other problem with memberships. Every single month, someone receives notification that they've just paid for your membership. They're going to ask themselves the question, is this still worth it? Am I still receiving the value that I had intended to receive? So they have to make that buying decision over and over again every single month of, is this worth it? Am I putting in the work? What does this look like for me? So they have to make this decision again and again and again and again. Unless they sign up for a really attractive 6 or 12 month option, every single month they're asking themselves whether your membership is worth it. Are you feeling maxed out with one-to-one clients or tired of launching offers that never really seem to take off? You don't need more guessing and false starts. What you need is a scalable signature offer that's both simple and sophisticated, and that can actually add 6 figures to your business in the next 12 months. That's exactly what I'll walk you through inside of Sold Out Signature, my free 3-day bootcamp designed to cut the fluff and give you the exact steps to build a revenue stream that actually works. Just head to launcheasylife.com/scalable or come and hang out with me on Instagram @RobinBirkin to grab all the details. It's free, it's live, and it's happening this month. I can't wait to see you there. So then the next thing that you want to consider when you're considering whether or not to create a membership or a different style of program is to understand that one of the core reasons people will join a membership over something like an online course is for accountability, community, momentum, and implementation. And sometimes that's even harder in something like an online course because it's kind of like ongoing until you die. So there's no real motivation to get in and get the work done and to sprint to get a result. But the other thing is, if you have under 100 members, that can be kind of hard to achieve. So I've had all sorts of programs. Like I've had membership. We had 100 members within 4 months. I've had an online course with 200 and something people inside. And I can quite clearly let you know, even with free Facebook groups and things like that, the moment that you get to 100 members, in terms of any kind of community, sales, whatever it is, everything kind of becomes different. Like you will have these standout people that are pushing everyone along and getting results and posting and starting the engagement. It just becomes so much easier. One of the reasons why someone is joining your membership is for that community accountability momentum. Unless it's a really high ticket offer and someone, like they're paying so that they can pay attention and like it's a high ticket and so therefore they're buying because they want that intimacy to really get the result and that personal attention. If they're joining something like a lower ticket membership, they want to be swept up with the group, right? They want to see what everyone else is doing. So unless you have a big audience that is going to get like 100 members in a few months' time, there really has to be then that question of, is this really going to work for me? You might be better off starting with something like an online course and getting some of those results in, perfecting that framework, building your audience and getting sales, and then transitioning a little bit later if you're still super committed. And then the next thing is that you're going to be selling for a lower price. So when I look at online courses and memberships, let's say I have an online course that is all about healing your metabolism when you're in perimenopause and getting rid of like brain fog and the mum pooch and all of those things. As an online course or an online program, I would potentially be selling that for, let's say, $997. As a membership, though, I'm going to be selling that primarily for maybe $47 to $97 because I have to price it at a price point that's really attractive for that market to come and join. So then when we look at the math, when we have something like a membership and we look at monthly recurring revenue, which is one of the things people often say they want when they join a membership, this is where we have to say, hang on a second. Let's say that I have because math is not my strong point, a 10-month payment plan and I haven't included anything on the top for admin and processing. I have a 10-month payment plan for that as an online course. That is $97 per month for 10 months. If I was to have that as a membership, number one, I probably would be charging like $47 for that. Let's say though I am charging $97 for that membership. The question then becomes, is my average lifetime value and the results I get for people better than 10 months? That's the question. If the answer is, they're probably not going to stay for 10 months, make it a group coaching program, an online course or something that has this sort of, this is it, this is the framework. You're not going to be creating ongoing content all of the time. People are going to have that clarity about the expected value that I'm going to get. These are the resources I'm going to get. This is going to be the payment plan. So always really understanding. And so 9 times out of 10, when I have a client who comes to me, they're like, I want to work part-time hours and I want to make multi-6 figures in my business. I want to be known for something. Everything that I teach, 9 times out of 10, what I'm going to recommend to them is not a lower priced membership because it's going to be lots of ongoing work. It's going to feel hard at that mindset level when you're consistently navigating cancellations for that. And it's going to also not get you necessarily to your revenue goals the fastest because you could have a program, you create pretty much everything once, and then you get to focus your energy on what you need to focus your energy on, which is 80% of what you will be doing is marketing and sales. At any small business, if you are under like $1 million, 80% of what you're going to be doing should be sales and marketing, right? So that's where in almost every scenario, I'm going to look at this top quadrant that is less delivery, more revenue. It's like a premium-y type space. I have a quadrant that I would be sharing in sold out signature, and I'll be like, this is where you want to be in terms of how you structure and create the offer that you have. Now, this is the two caveats that I have of when you might create a membership. One is when the solution that you are solving for people is consistency. Like it's something that's ongoing. Like they're never going to have to stop doing the thing, finding the results, being inspired, whatever it is. Or the landscape of what you are teaching changes so rapidly that people are continually needing to upskill in it. Like there's never an end point to this because it's like such a changing parade, a moving parade. So here are some examples when you may still be like, nah, I'm going to create this as an online course, and that's still possibly going to be more profitable for you. But here are some scenarios where if I had a client who said to me, I want my signature revenue generator in my business to be a membership, when I'd be like, let's explore whether this is a thing. So number one, Instagram Reels and like Instagram content. When you are providing like, here are prompts to use this week on your posts, Instagram is an ever-changing parade and it's something that's ongoing. Like people need to be consistently posting on Instagram. So posting on Instagram is timeless. There's just a few things that you need to do to keep up to speed with what works. All content that is good is timeless. But if you had Instagram Reels and you were like, my core membership is going to be providing people with this ongoing creative inspiration for what to post on Instagram Reels, I would be like, yep, maybe. Facebook ads and meta ads, oh my God, especially over the next 18 months as Facebook is deciding to potentially like AI-ify the whole platform. Like I always say to people, this is like meta ads is like a group of neurodiverse teenage boys who don't really communicate with each other or communicate very well got together and they're like, let's create this software, but no one spoke to one another. And so it just became this clunky thing. No one could like make solid decisions. No one was making it streamlined. What they need is like a mother to come in and keep them all in line and help them communicate with one another, because it's like a rabbit warren. You'll create the targeting option that you use next week, that targeting option is gone and things have changed. Oh, here, now create dynamic creative. Spoiler alert, psych, it's changed. So number one, people will always need meta ads in their business. Number two, it's a rapidly changing landscape. So you're going to continually be updating your resources. Can it work as an online course? Yes. Do you need to keep it up to date all the time? Yes. Next one is fitness/workouts. So when somebody has to be continually working out, if they're doing the exact same workouts week in, week out, they're not going to love that. So you want to have some fresh content within that. It's an ongoing thing. If people want the results, it's not a once and done. They need to keep doing it, keep doing it. Meal plans, ditto. Even maybe like you could be giving a recipe book, so you're going to have to bake in something else into just meal plans. But yes, maybe. Also AI, maybe. In the current market, the landscape is changing very rapidly. However, I do feel like once you understand the basics and the foundations of how to use AI, how to create AI agents, it becomes kind of very rinse and repeat. So it might be more like a live group coaching program that you would use. In almost every other scenario, I would create an online course. Less delivery, higher monthly recurring revenue, higher conversion rates. And the only other scenario where I'd be like, oh, let's maybe add a membership into the mix is if the membership is almost like a replacement for your like lead magnets and it becomes one of your feeder funnels. And I have one client who is with me. We've radically changed the revenue, the piece, the clarity that she has in business, because she was running a membership. It was not generating any kind of exceptional revenue into her business. And what we did when we worked together was identify, well, actually, we have these 2 core products. They serve different audiences, but this is what our offer ladder looks like. And the membership is not the revenue generator. It's a feeder funnel, like a lead magnet. We have then put together an evergreen funnel that works for this, that we're then pushing ads to, that she's now generating members into that funnel on autopilot, but it's not her signature revenue generating offer. It is her lead generator and the thing that warms people up to then ascend into her signature offer. So if you have your membership as a lead generation type offer and you've already got your signature offer, your ascension offer, all of those pieces in place, which this client does, that is at the point when I'm like, yeah, maybe we do this, because they can be great when you have the momentum and the audience, which she has. She has exceptional engagement online. She already has stable and significant revenue into her business. That's when we can say, okay, well, what would a membership look like instead of low ticket offers? We scrapped nearly every other low ticket offer in her business. And now we have this beautiful and clear funnel that is so profitable because she understands exactly how the membership works in her business. And spoiler alert, the signature offer that she has in her business, which is one of her core revenue drivers, is an online course. So if you want to learn exactly what that offer structure might look like in your business, you're going to have to join me for Sold Out Signature. It's happening next week. So click the show notes below. I will send you all of the details as I explained at the beginning of this episode. The trainings are going to be chef's kiss, incredible. So I cannot wait to see you there, and stay tuned. We have another episode tomorrow. So if you have more questions about like, what does my funnels and everything look like this week, we're delivering for you. Speak to you tomorrow. Bye.
Another episode on the books. If you'd like to continue the conversation and get more super saveable tips, come and find me on Instagram at Robin Birkin. Otherwise, make sure you're subscribed, and I can't wait to see you next week.